And welcome back to the show, everyone. We have GRF update, Golden Rain Foundation update. Here with us today, we've got Kushbada and Marie Collins. Hello, you two.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good morning to you also.
Thank you for coming. I know you've got a lot of talking points to update everybody on, so I'm just going to let you take it away from here.
Thank you, thank you. I have Marie Collins. She's a young, very accomplished attorney on our board, and she's got many good things to tell our residents.
Okay.
And Marie, would you like to
Yes.
carry on?
A lot of residents have been asking me, what are all these elections about? Who elects who? I don't know. Why don't I go to that election? Okay. And so that's why I thought it would be helpful to explain just about who, that's what I call it, who votes for whom and why. Okay?
All right, Marie, let's clear that up.
All right. So the Laguna Woods Village currently has 5 corporations in it. If you ask anybody, they think, oh, there are just 3, there are just 4. There are actually 5. And I'm not going to explain all the relations between them, but I'm going to explain who they are and why they need votes to be held.
Okay.
Okay, so each has a board of directors. Each corporation, just like corporations all over the world, if it's a corporation, it's going to have a board of directors, which is elected by the owners, who are the shareholders. That's consistent everywhere in the world.
Correct.
That's what a corporation does, okay? So 4 of our corporations that are in here own property and are directly associated with the residents. And that's GRF, United, Third, and Mutual 50. Mutual 50, by the way, if you don't know it by that name, is the towers, okay?
Oh.
All right, the Village Management Services, VMS, as we all call them, okay? They are a not-for-profit corporation, and it is the management agent for 3 of our other corporations. That's kind of confusing, okay? It's a management agent for GRF, for Third, and for United. The Towers has a different management corporation, okay?
Okay.
So, since each of these corporations have a board of directors, they're going to have to get elected by the shareholders. So, Laguna Woods United Mutual, that's where I live, it has 6,323 residents.
Correct.
So they are the shareholders.
Of that corporate.
United Mutual is a corporation, and it owns all of the property that is Laguna Woods United. Okay, but the shareholders are the residents, and the residents each have a occupancy agreement. Now that's not the way it is over in Third.
Correct. It's slightly
Over in
different.
Third,
Slightly different.
yeah.
Yes.
So over in Third, they own. So each of those HOA members own. So back to Laguna Woods Mutual, it has 6,323 shareholders, and they elect 11 directors to the board of directors for Laguna Woods United. Okay? All right, Laguna Hills, and they've just never changed their name from a long time ago, but Laguna Hills Third Mutual, that's where it's fee simple. And you live in
It's
Third.
a condos.
Yeah.
These are the condominiums,
Yeah,
and there are, go
but
ahead.
they're owned.
They're owned,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, they're owned.
Yes.
Okay, but they have a homeowners association. And that homeowners association has 6,102
Correct.
shareholders of the homeowners association, which is called Laguna Hills Third Mutual. So those 6,102, those people elect the board of directors for Third. Now, I think most people understand those 2. Now we'll get into the hard ones. Okay, Mutual 50, the Towers, they only have 311 members, okay? So they elect only 5 directors. See, it's kind of proportionate. The other 2 have 11, so each of those elect 11.
Correct.
And then the Towers elect 5. Okay, Golden Rain Foundation. All right, Golden Rain Foundation.
Hold on, Mary. So tell them the total number after that. If 6,000, 6,000, 3,000, 300.
12,736.
Correct. So that is the total number of resident units that we have in the whole of Laguna Woods. Correct?
Yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now that's like the associations that are directly associated with the people voting like that.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Golden Rain Foundation is the trustee of the trust that was set up by the grantor, 60 years ago. He had to make sure that as we live here now, 60 years later, that we have all these wonderful activities and associations and
amenities and benefits and all that kind of stuff should continue. So they created this thing called the Golden Rain Foundation to manage and run all these things.
So it oversees
Correct.
everything else.
Mainly the clubhouses, the pools, the golf courses, and so many other activities. Yes.
So the actual real estate property within Laguna Woods that is not owned by Third, United, or the towers, like all the clubhouses and the streets, things like that, those are assets of the trust. And then everybody knows that a trust has a trustee that manages it and is responsible to take care of it and let it be there. Well, every trust also has beneficiaries, okay? Well, the beneficiaries are three. They are United, Third, and Mutual 50. Even though all three of those don't have the same manager, they are all three beneficiaries of this trust, okay?
Yes.
So that is why they vote for the directors on the Golden Rain Foundation, GRF. See, it's kind of confusing.
All the way
It's
back
like a
around.
convoluted, but it does work.
Right.
Yes.
So when you come back to it and you're going to have an election, because that was why I'm doing it. Why have all these elections? Well, it's because each of those three I described to you that are mutuals, they have a board, 11, 11, and 5, and that adds up to 27. Okay, those three mutuals own, they not only are the beneficiaries of the trust, they own the trustee. See, a trustee, it's a corporation, it's got to have a board of directors. That's who owns it. So that's why when you say, oh, and this is what people usually don't understand, why are we having a, quote, corporate election? Why are only those 27 people elect? It's because they are the owners and they of the GRF assets. And so they are the shareholders and they are the ones who vote. So that's how that comes out. All right, so all those mutuals, they individually vote, but they have representatives on their boards, and then their boards represent, and the 27 people who are directors, that's the corporate. So when you hear the corporate, that's what it is.
Interesting.
Okay? That's about all I have. What do you think?
You need to tell them a little bit about VMS.
I do need to tell them a little bit about VMS. Yeah. This is the one that's really not associated with the individuals, sort of. VMS was created in 2015 by three of them, the three that they manage for. Okay, so VMS was created in 2015 by GRF, Third, and United, not Mutual. I mean, not 50 Mutual. They wanted a different one.
Let's step back a little.
Okay.
So we used to have one management company at that time, and they needed a change. What I mean is these 3 or 4 different entities. So they decided to make that change. Mutual 50 wanted to stay back with the original management agent. So they stayed back, but United, Third,
GRF.
GRF changed over and created their own company, which is now known as Village Management Services, or VMS. So that's the difference that Marie was talking about. Yeah.
And you know, that was really one of my main points, and I was about to skip over it. Thank you. And that is, why don't we vote for the people who live here, the residents? Why don't we vote for VMS Board of Directors? Well, because VMS, Village Management Services, is a corporation.
Right.
And it's owned by these that he mentioned. It's owned by GRF, Third, and United. So they, again, 11, and 5, that's who they are. But since they are only 3, when you look at them, there are only 3 shareholders. There are only 3 shareholders for VMS, and they are GRF, United, and Third. So each of those 3 send 3 members.
Correct.
So it's within, let's just take GRF where we are. Within GRF, we elect 3 delegates to be, well, actually, we elect 3 directors for VMS. And then United elects 3. And then Third elects 3. And so the VMS board is elected by its shareholders, 3 of them, and they run VMS. It's a company which is a management company, okay? It just happens to be owned by us, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you don't see people putting out flyers and things like that for VMS directors, because it's only their 3 shareholders who vote, not the whole company.
My goodness.
Does that make
Interesting.
sense?
Yeah.
It totally makes sense. Yeah,
Now-
I kind of think in pictures, so I'm trying to put this little chart together as you're
thought
going
about
through
doing that,
everything.
yeah.
That's a lot to remember, Marie.
It is. Well,
You
it
get
is.
used to it. Once you get working into it,
Yeah.
you get to know a lot more, and then it comes to you automatically when you're talking.
You don't have to be an attorney?
Yeah. But see,
Not necessary.
no. But I understand why people are confused.
Oh,
'cause
absolutely.
That's pretty complicated.
It's
and I
highly
didn't even
complicated.
get into the whys, wherefores, if. Okay, this is I just wanted everybody to understand who elects whom and why.
Right. Yeah, no, I think putting together a chart, a flow chart, would be really helpful.
That's correct.
That way you can just hand it
I'll
off.
do that next time.
Okay, great. Okay. That's your assignment. That way I know that I've got a full understanding of what goes on
I'm
around
sure
here.
Marie did a pretty good job of putting these little pieces together.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
No, this is great. And I
Well,
I've
I hope it
gained-
helps. I hope
Well,
it
it
helps.
helped me, so I'm sure
Yeah.
that it had helped our residents as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think going over it, a few more times, like you said, you'll pick it up.
But
and
it
you'll
will
get
be
it.
recorded, so they can keep
Oh, there you
pressing
go.
the rewind button and
It'll be on YouTube, so they can rewatch anytime they want.
And he keeps me on track when I almost run off. Wait a minute, tell us about VMS. Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to cover,
correct.
Yeah.
and you could easily kind of sort of get off base a little bit.
Yes, when I first made the outline to send over here, when it came back, it looked like, oh my gosh, that'll take 45 minutes. We can't do that. So I pared it down just to who elects whom, and so
Yeah.
we got that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I think you did a terrific job,
Yes,
Marie.
you did.
And I'm sure people will have questions, but they will be able to rewind it and sort it out, or they will give us a call.
Yeah. How long have you been president?
Since last November.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Marie, how long have you been on the board?
About 2 months.
So, have either of you gotten questions from residents, like wanting to know the history?
Sure.
And kind of what you did, you sort of walked us through the history, basically. But I think it's fascinating.
It is.
I think that the entire structure of this community
Well-
is just based on. He was such a Cortese was just ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Yes, it's unique. It's the largest one in California, which probably means it's
Probably,
the largest
yes.
one.
There are some larger ones in America, but 12,700 and plus units in one organization
Right.
is pretty huge. And I think we do a tremendous job that makes lots of people wanting to move here, and it's being rated as one of the best in the country.
Congratulations with that. Thank you, Marie and Kush.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
you.
joining us here today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having
We'll
us.
see you next time.
Thank you.
You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.